was in another rehab facility, I was finding a way to get drugs. And I left with that female that I had formed a relationship with, and we went and we got high together for a couple of days, and then we went our separate ways. And then after that, I can honestly tell you, it was just detox after detox after detox. I had a girlfriend at the time who was a heavy addict just like myself, so I kept going back to her, and we would do a lot of crimes together, burglaries, robberies, selling drugs, that kind of stuff. And it just went on and on from there, and I started going to jail all the time. I was getting locked up all the time. My mother actually, I was gone. Like I would go out and I would get high with my girlfriend for a couple weeks, and then I would show back up at the house like a tornado, and I would just like run through the house and taking jewelry or the DVD player or whatever, laptops, whatever I get my hands on that I thought I could get money for. And my mother kept telling me, I can't take it anymore, I can't take it anymore, I'm leaving, I'm going to sell the house, I'm going to sell the house. And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. And I was gone for a couple weeks, and I came back, and I went to go put my key in the door and turn the lock, and the locks were changed. So I rang the bell, and some woman came to the door, and I had no idea who she was. And I asked, I said, is Kathleen here, which is my mother's name? And she said, oh, she moved. And my mom had actually sold the house and moved while I was out using drugs. And I called her, and she said she was at my cousin's house, and she was leaving the next morning for Florida. And she left. And at that point, my security blanket was gone, and I was literally homeless. And I started sleeping in parks, and I really started spending a lot more time in the city, because I figured there was no point to keep going back to Long Island. My drugs were in the city. Being that I was homeless, I went into a methadone program, and I got on the methadone program and started using a lot of cocaine, and I was doing a lot of shoplifting, and just a lot of grimy street stuff. Pretty much the last year and a half I was out there, I slept on the subways, and it was a rough way to live. And I noticed that once my security blanket was gone, and I really was literally homeless. I started getting arrested all the time, you know, and cops were just picking me up for random things like sleeping on the subway, and possession of drugs, and possession with intent to sell, and all these different charges I was getting, and shoplifting. It was all petty crimes, you know, and I kept going. I would go into Rikers Island, I would come out. I would go in Rikers Island, 2 weeks later I'd be back in there, you know, and it was just in and out, in and out, in and out. And it's scary to say, but I started to get comfortable with that, you know. I started to get real comfortable. I used to be like upset almost when they would make me leave jail, because I knew I had to go back out to the street, and I had to hustle, and I had to find a place to sleep and all that kind of stuff. And being when I was in jail, I had a cot, you know, 3 hots and a cot, and they gave me my methadone while I was in there in Rikers Island. So it was easy when I was in there. It was when I went back out to the street, it was when it was hard, you know. And they picked me up. What happened was they picked me up for, I don't remember what it was. I think it was shoplifting. I was in Harlem, and I had a warrant in Long Island, and they transferred me out there. They had brought in the warrant up a couple other times when I was there, but the detectives never came to get me. And finally they came to get me. And it was for possession of stolen property. Me and my ex-girlfriend had stolen a car, and they sent me to county jail in Long Island, and they gave me my methadone, but they decreased me every couple of days, and they detoxed me off of it. And I was there for probably about 6 months, and I came out, and I was on a pretty heavy dose, and methadone takes a while to get out of your system. And even when I got out of the jail, I still had that hard to eat, hard to sleep, a little bit of tremors, and I kept telling myself, you know, I went in front of the judge, and the judge basically told me, you know, I need you to report to probation on Monday, and if I see you in front of me again, I'm sending you to state prison. And I didn't even listen to that, you know. As soon as he let me out, I had a little bit of money in commissary that I got my mother to send me, and I used the money to get a motel room. And I said, I'm going to make a meeting tomorrow. And the next morning, instead of making mean, I called my ex-girlfriend, and she came, and we started getting high again. And I got high for 11 days. That was on June 1st that I got released from Nassau County Jail. I was 30 years old, and I was homeless. I had nothing, and I called my girlfriend, and we went back out and we got high for 11 days. And on June 11th, I checked myself into Cabrini Medical Center. It was June 11th, 2007. And I checked myself into Cabrini Medical Center, which was a detox that I frequented many times when I was down there, and they knew me there. And they were just like, when I used to go there, they would always suggest, we think you should go here, we think you should go here. And I would either tell them, nah, I don't want to go there, I know what I got to do, I'm going to go to meetings, and, I would tell them, yeah, I'll go there, and I'll take the recommendation. And then when I would leave the hospital, I would go do exactly the same thing. But for some reason this time when I got into there, I told them, look, I got no money, I got no place to go, and I got no insurance. I said, but I don't want to go back out there. And they suggested a place in Garrison called St. Christopher's, which was, it's basically a homeless shelter / rehab. And I took it, and it was an all-male facility, which was actually good for me considering the problems I'd had in the past with females in rehab facilities. So I took it, and it was probably one of the best moves I ever made. I went there with an open mind, and I started realizing that I needed to stop making decisions. That was the main thing. I needed to just stop making decisions and just trust that the people that were going to make the decisions for me were looking out for my best interest, because any decisions I made were terrible. So that was a 90-day program, but I ended up staying there a little longer. I was there about 4.5 months. And when I was ready to leave, they suggested, well, shortly before I was ready to leave, they suggested that I should go for some more treatment, inpatient treatment. And normally in the past I would have told them, you're crazy, I don't need that. And this time I just said, whatever you guys think I should do, I'll do it. At that point, I had been shooting heroin almost 10 years, excluding the time that I had been in treatment, which, detoxes, this is a couple of 3, 4, 5 days, and except for that one long period when I was in the therapeutic community, I'd basically been shooting heroin 10 years. So I said, you know what, I need to do something different, and I went, and they sent me to a place called St. Joseph's, which was up in Saranac Lake, and it was up in the mountains, and it was away from everything, and even if I wanted to leave, it was probably like a 7-hour bus ride, so I was not going anywhere, and I stayed there. And of course, when it was time to leave there, I told them that I wanted to go back to the city, and they strongly suggested against it. And they wanted me to go to a city called Schenectady, which is in upstate New York. It's right by Albany, which is where we are today. And basically, I'd never heard of the place, and I said, where's that? And they explained it to me, and I wasn't too happy about it, and I told them I didn't want to go, and what was my other options. And then they told me, well, you can go to another homeless shelter if you want. And I said, all right, I'll go to Schenectady, And they sent me to the 3-quarter house there, or the halfway house, and it was actually a working house, so I had to get a job when I got there. And I was 30 years old, and you had like a certain amount of time to find a job. And when I got there, it was a struggle, I did fall into like old behaviors again. I was getting really frustrated. I remember it was the middle of winter, and I went to a Kmart, and I wanted to fill out a job application. They told me I had to do it online, and I had no access to a computer unless I went to the library, and I was just getting really frustrated.